Qualitative research design. It is one of the oldest research methods. Ancient Greek philosophers used to observe world around them qualitatively and try to explain how things are happening. So what is qualitative research design? It is a method used extensively by scientists and researchers studying human behavior, opinions, theme, motivations. So if you want to study human behavior, their opinions and their motivations and themes, you have to go for a qualitative research design. So how the characteristics of qualitative research designs are? So they are very flexible and interactive. So you all know what is quality. Quality means we usually explain it in words. So when we use it in terms of words, it is more flexible comparing to numbers. So quantitative analysis, we usually get numbers, so we cannot manipulate numbers. Whereas here in qualitative study, it is more flexible and interactive because it is used by the words, the descriptions or words, so interactive is more possible. It uses inductive reasoning. So usually qualitative analysis comes from known to unknown, which is called inductive reasoning. So what you know and you will learn more from that. So use words rather than numbers. So here, as I said, qualitative means we use words instead of numbers in quantitative. Assume a dynamic reality. So you can understand various realities and large amount of knowledge with the help of this qualitative research. Emphasize participants' view. This is one important aspect in qualitative research design. The participants are very important in qualitative analysis, and their view towards any phenomenon is very important. It involves respondent as active participants. So in quantitative, the researcher plays a very important role, whereas in qualitative, the active participant, that is the sample subjects who are participating in the research activity, they are involved and they are responsible for the research. Holistic. So qualitative analysis always covers all the areas because we don't go for a standardized tool. We are not rigid here in qualitative analysis. We will just observe whatever is happening around that variable or phenomenon. No manipulation of variables happens in qualitative research. Whereas in quantitative, we usually manipulate and see how it is effective. Whereas in qualitative, no manipulation of variable happens. So these are all the characteristics: flexible, interactive, uses inductive reasoning, use words rather than numbers, assume a dynamic reality, emphasize participants' view, involve respondent as active participants, holistic, and no manipulation of variables. There are different types of qualitative research design. 5 of them are listed here: ethnography, phenomenology, grounded theory, case study, and historical research. We'll see one by one. What is ethnography? From the meaning, it came out from a Greek word called ethnos, which means people or folk. Graphy means, you all know, that is writing or a study. So it's a qualitative method used often in social sciences because it is a study about people. It is mostly used in sociology and social sciences and a part of anthropology. It used to collect data relevant to human societies and culture. So if you want to collect information or do a study related to people, culture, human societies, then we look for an ethnographic study. So here the research problem is based on a specific culture, describing a part or a complete culture. So the implementation of the ethnographic research happens in 3 phases, that is pre-field work, post-field work. So what is the pre-field work in a research? It is common for all this type of studies. Here what we do as a researcher is we select a problem and we do a review of literature, that is ROL. with the problem we selected, and we do plan how you are going to do a research. You will do a blueprint of the research. So this is what we do in a pre-field work, which is very common for all the research. In ethnographic study, what we do in field work, here the researcher will go to that area or the people where they live, and then he will observe what is happening. So for the field work, he needs first contact the person who is in charge of that area. So generally, for example, if we are going to study a culture of a tribal group, so as a researcher, what you should do, you have to go and contact the head person of the tribal group and get a entry permit. So makes contact and then gain entry permit, and then establish a relationship. You just introduce yourself to the group and just explain them why are you here, and you will participate as an observer. So what you do, you stay there along with them and you will observe whatever things happening in that culture, that tribal group. Researcher studies and spend time along with the people. So while you are spending time, there are two views happen, that is emic and etic. Emic is insider's view about culture, and the etic is outsider's view about the culture. For example, when you are outside the tribal group, related to some protocol or principles they follow, you may have another view. But when you go inside the tribal group and live, they may have or they may express some other view about the same habit or a principle what they follow. So which is called emic, insider's view about their culture, and etic is outsider's view about the culture. So you have to compare both and bring out some interpretations. Collect data, analyze general features, and refine the collected information. So first you need to get the contact, gain an entry permission, establish relationship, participate as an observer, and you will start spending time and you will observe the whole group or the people for their emic and etic, and then you will collect data, analyze and refine. Post field work. So once your data is collected, you can move out of the group or the people where you are staying, and you can analyze the data completely and interpret the findings and write your report or a thesis. Okay, so this is how the ethnographic research field implementation happens: pre-field work, field work and post-field work. So how the data collection is happening? It's by census, mapping, vital statistics, life histories. You can sit there and do an interview of few people and their life histories, event analysis. So you can analyze whatever events happening in that cultural group. So this is how the data collection method happens. The technique we use in ethnographic studies or observation: unstructured in-depth interview, records, physical evidences, diaries, letters and photographs. Types of ethnography. So there are two types of ethnography. One is macro, the other one is micro. So macro means if you broadly study a very big culture, already a well-defined culture, can be an Indian culture or a British culture, whereas the things are broad and needs to study more, we say it as macro ethnography. Micro ethnography, it's very narrow, one simple part of a culture or one small principle what the people follow in that cultural or tribal group. If you select that, we say it as micro ethnography. So the example here I have given for macro ethnography is the British culture or an English culture. If you are going to study, it will take time and you have to spend more time in the research. Whereas micro ethnography, here I have given example of study to assess the life at the restaurant. So you can specify one restaurant and you can stay there from the opening till the closing of that restaurant, and you can write a report on that study. We say it as micro ethnography. So the advantage is rich source of visual data. Of course, all qualitative analysis has a rich source of data, captures behavior in different contexts, because the angle of the view of the observer will be completely different. Places a human face on data, captures even emotional behavior. These are all the advantages of ethnographic study, and there are some disadvantage as well, because to investigate complex issue, it will be a problem. A voice for understanding would be there, like some of the things when you say, people may not accept it. Expensive and difficult, because you have to spend more time, and what equipments you use or maybe a bit expensive. Ethics. The next one is ethics. Sometimes writing about some sensitive area will be unethical, so you have to be careful when you write an ethnographic research. Next one is phenomenological research. It's a 20th century philosophical movement dedicated to describe the structure of experience. If you want to know about experience of a phenomena, we do a phenomenological research. Phenomena means it's an event, you can say. So if you want to describe about the event, then it is called phenomenological research design. Nursing phenomenological studies have explained human experiences in health, illness, dying, healing. So nowadays the phenomenological researchers are playing a more strong role in nursing research, because if you want to know the experience felt by an oncology patient, or an organ donated patient, or organ received person, or it can be something related to patients experiencing different type of illnesses. So all these things you can explain it, or you can do a research on phenomenological research. So what is the research problem here? It focuses on lived experience. For example, tsunami affected people. If you are going to do a research, you can just go and get their experience. So the research problem is usually a lived experience. Sample collection is purposive sampling, because we will go and see people who are affected by the tsunami. Data collection is unstructured interviews. You cannot go with some set of questions. So what you do, you just ask them what and all happened, and you have to record and get the information. Bracketing is used in phenomenological research design. So when you hear a person with an unstructured interview, bracketing should be used. Bracketing is nothing but you should not have any idea about the phenomenon or an event, like in your mind. You should accept whatever they see. That is called bracketing. Interviews are recorded and transcribed. So all the interviews will be recorded and transcribed in a paper by the researcher. Data analysis is done by reading and rereading it and writing it. What is the advantage? In-depth understanding of individual phenomena happens. So you will get almost everything about the event. Rich data. All the qualitative has rich data, so that is the advantage. Unique perspective. So your angle will be completely different. So and it will give a unique perspective to the research. So there are disadvantages. Difficulty in reliability and validity. When you go for interviewing, sometimes what happens, they may exaggerate some events. So some people may exaggerate their feelings, or so that makes the research validity and reliability in a difficult situation. Difficult to detect researcher induced bias. So even researcher can give some extra ideas are biased. He may reject some and he may accept some points. So difficulty in perceiving pure bracketing. This is what happens, because you may not accept everything when they say. So that makes that it's a research disadvantage. Highly qualitative result difficult to use. Sometimes it is with very rich data application or bringing out all the things in a research paper, it will be difficult, and it cannot be generalized because it's a single problem focused, so it cannot be generalized to the public. Yes, because tsunami means it's only for the people who are affected in tsunami, that too in that area. You cannot generalize it. All the people who are suffered with tsunami will have this kind of thoughts. Okay, so the rest of the things we will see in the next video. Thank you.